What's going on, TBL fam and future TBL fam? Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here, please hit that subscribe button, also the bell icon, so you can get updated for future videos that I put out. We are going over a really awesome topic. I've actually thought about this before I even made this channel, and I thought it's something that viewers like yourself would actually appreciate, maybe have some, get some entertainment and some education from it. But that is, which is harder or which is more difficult? Is it Army Basic Combat Training or the Highway Patrol Trooper Academy? So for this video, we're going to cover 3 specific topics. I think that'll help kind of lessen the amount of time that this video takes. The first topic we're going to go over is probably one that's on a lot of people's mind, and that is the physical fitness requirements, or what you're going to do with physical fitness in both the Army Basic Training and then also the Highway Patrol Trooper Academy. The second is the academic standards for both Army Basic Training and also the academic standards for the Highway Patrol Trooper Academy. And the third is the formal training that you're going to receive while you're at basic training that kind of prepares you for the field or being in your actual job. Army Basic Training is quite physically demanding, so go in with that mindset knowing that you're going to have to push yourself daily. I remember when I got there, I was like, man, in my head, I never said out loud, but I was thinking like, what did I get myself into? I was like, man, this is tough. There's gonna be days where they're challenging, right? You're gonna do tons and tons and tons of push-ups, tons of sit-ups, tons of running. You're gonna run so much that it just becomes natural. Like, you don't even walk anymore because it's just natural. Like, running just comes natural. And you can't walk anywhere, by the way. In basic, you're required to run. So if you're going from one building to another, you are required to run, not walk. There's absolutely no walking, I think, until the day you graduate. Or if you're marching, that's different. But yeah, so very physically demanding. You're gonna do a lot of team building exercises, things that you have to help maybe hold another person up. And I think it's important because you're functioning as a team, you function as like a fire squad. And I think it's something, like I said, that definitely helps make you into the United States soldier that they want you to be. Physically demanding, yes, it is very physically demanding. Now, going into the academic aspects of it. Academically, you're really not going to take any tests. I'm going to be honest with you. You're not. There's a entry-level test when you first, submit your information to go into the military, to go to basic training. You take the ASVAB, but outside of that, I don't recall really taking any tests. Maybe a couple. Not really a big deal, to be honest with you, in basic training. Now, as you get into your schooling, your actual job schooling, you will have to take tests. You do have to meet a standard for that. If you don't meet the standard, you can be recycled and have to redo the training or be sent to a different job. But in basic training, it's not necessarily a lot of training in regards to academic standards. So that's not something really to worry about. Getting into the actual job training, you're going to focus on things to be a soldier. Regardless of your job, if you're a cook, a medic, aviation like myself, or even a driver, a truck driver, you're going to go to the same basic training, except for infantry. I believe they have their own. It's all kind of combined. But you're going to go to the same basic training. It helps you with team building skills, and I think it helps prepare you all to be a United States soldier. Now, some of the training you're going to experience, which I think is really cool, you'll do tons of training that you will never, ever get the chance, unless you stay in the military, to do. So you probably won't, most civilian jobs won't allow you to do this type of training. You're gonna get to learn how to shoot a rifle, which is super awesome. You're gonna spend tons and tons and tons of hours on the range. You'll do night shooting, which is cool because you'll get to see the tracer rounds. It's really awesome. You'll get to train with night vision goggles. You'll get to do tactical movements, room clearing, learn land navigation. You'll get to rappel from a tower. You'll get the privilege of going into a gas chamber, which will give you an idea of like a nuclear, biological, chemical attack, kind of how to respond to that. It's CS gas. It sucks for a little bit, but after a while, once you pass through it, you're like, hey, it wasn't that bad. And then you do it again, like in law enforcement, you're like, oh my God, that sucked, that's horrible. But when you're doing it, it's like, hey, this is cool, this is new. It's not really cool though. But you're gonna do all types of training. You're gonna shoot machine guns. You're gonna get to shoot fully auto grenade launchers. You get to throw live hand grenades. So it's a ton of training that you're gonna get to do that you wouldn't necessarily ever have the chance of doing in your lifetime if you hadn't joined the military. So in that aspect, I think that's really awesome. I really like that. And I really enjoyed basic training, to be honest with you. I know it's kind of a weird thing. It's kind of hard being away, but the other aspect of it, you're doing some really cool stuff that is really awesome in my opinion. Now, kind of not thinking about the military, getting on a different aspect, going towards this Highway Patrol Trooper Academy. It is physically demanding. You need to come to the Highway Patrol Academy with some level of fitness. If you don't, I promise you, you will regret it. And if you get injured in the Highway Patrol Academy and you cannot complete a certain amount of training requirements in regards to the physical training, you will be asked to resign and you'll have to quit. And then you'll have to start the process all over again, reapply. You're looking at anywhere from 3 to 6 months of applying if you get selected through the process again. And then you have to wait additional maybe 6, 7 months for the next academy class to start. So go with the mindset, I need to have a level of fitness before I go to the Trooper Academy. Because again, unlike basic training where you can go kind of as you are, you need to go with some level here with the Highway Patrol Academy. PT is very similar though. PT is very similar. You're gonna be doing PT about 5 to 5:30 in the morning. Maybe though 2-hour sessions, not an hour. And immediately after that, you're gonna shower just like in Army basic training, go eat chow, and then get ready to start the day for training. But the PT aspect is very difficult. You're gonna do like CrossFit style workouts, Tabata style workouts, interval training, and everything's designed like a different workout every single day. You will not necessarily do the same thing. You're not always gonna run, you're not always gonna do push-ups. It's something that I like that aspect of it because it's not the same thing, the same mundane, boring exercises, just consistently doing the same thing, breaking me down. It adds contrast and it adds, your different muscle groups and helps you kind of ultimately build you up into the trooper that they're trying to make you into. The academic standards. The academic standards for the Highway Patrol Academy are very, very difficult. And this was, to me, because I was not a scholar in school, this was the most difficult aspect of the Trooper Academy, in my opinion. For every test and quiz, you are required for the Highway Patrol Academy in Texas to maintain an 80% or above on any test, or it's considered failing. So I hit one test, I think it was my third test, and I hit a 78. I was 2 points away from an 80, and it was a fail. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, and it's like all this stress on you. And I started like questioning like, man, should I be here? Like, am I gonna make it? Like, this is really hard. And it starts messing with you a little bit because the academic standards are more difficult. I'm used to a 70, so an 80, I was not used to that. And again, I was not a scholar, so that was probably the most challenging aspect for me. And just some of the stuff that you have to learn, like the transportation code and the health and safety code and stuff about the court systems, it's just very dry and bland and there's really no way to spice it up to make it entertaining, and it's just really boring, I'm not gonna lie. So learning that information to prepare you for the 200 question test, it's very difficult. And then once you finish your training, you successfully pass all your tests and you're not kicked out, you haven't failed any and retake them and then failed again and they kick you out. If you're still there, then you have a certification exam at the end of the academy, and that's the TCOL, the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement. You have to pass that. I don't know what the requirement is, if it's 70 or 80, but you have to pass it to be certified as a peace officer in the state of Texas. Now that is for every single peace officer, not just the Highway Patrol. Every single police officer is required to take that exam and successfully pass it. But in addition to the stressors of the PT, the stressors of the academic portion, it's very difficult because you have to prepare yourself for this test. You do have time to study, but it's a lot of stress, like I said, and that was the most difficult part for me anyways, was the academic portion. The job training though for the Highway Patrol Academy was very fun. I had so much fun, I enjoyed it. You do everything centered around law enforcement. And so like when I was thinking about the police academy and how this is gonna be, it kind of exceeded my expectations. So you get to drive fast cars, really fast pursuits. You're gonna do like live scenario training with paint rounds. So it's live in regards to you have real people playing these roles. So you're like do a traffic stop, and then you'll have your face mask on, your weapon with the paint rounds, and you don't know what the person is going to do. It could be a normal traffic stop where you just issue a warning or a ticket, or it could be a traffic stop to where somebody is actually trying to physically hurt you and you have to take action, or what it may be. And I think that's really cool how they do that. They have other scenarios that you're going to bounce around from different stations where people are fighting, and you need to try to break up the fight or see how you're going to react, because through the training you're always being watched. Right? They're trying to weed out if somebody is going to be not a right fit as a trooper, and they're trying to weed those people out. So, are you going to be a bad cop? Are you going to be too aggressive? Are you going to be, somebody that's going to overlook something and get someone else hurt? They're making these determinations the whole time while you're training. So, but it's so much fun. There's a lot of things. We get to do tons of firearms training. We were there for a week of firearms training, a week of just driving. The driving was so much fun. You get to do that obstacle course, but it's harder than you think. So, I was like, oh, this is going to be so much fun. And then they're like, but you can't hit cones. And I was like, well, what happens if you hit a cone? Well, if you hit a cone, then we deduct these points, and then you can technically fail. And I was like, well, that's kind of makes it not very fun. So, but it was fun, and I didn't hit any cones, so it was cool. I passed. I became a trooper. But the training aspects, you're going to do some really cool stuff. You're going to learn about everything about law enforcement, all the laws for the most part. You're going to learn a lot of them. You're going to learn about crash investigation. So if you decide to be a trooper, crash investigation is a very big thing for the state troopers in Texas. They are pretty much the crash gurus for the county areas. So you're going to learn all about that. You're going to learn all about the laws, vehicle inspections, canine handling, all that stuff. You're not necessarily going to be a canine handler, but you're going to be able to see what they're looking for, and you're going to see a presentation with the canine. But it's really awesome, just learning about law enforcement and the training. You're also going to do a lot of ground tactics. You're going to do a lot of ground fighting. You're going to do a lot of this scenario versus this scenario, and they're going to put you through some tests. It's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very challenging. You're going to think I can't go on any further. I can't do this anymore. And then you're going to see once at the end that you can do this. If I had to say which one is harder, was it Army Basic Training or the Highway Patrol Troop Academy? By far, the Troop Academy was the hardest. 22 and a half weeks, it was very difficult. I remember I had an old trooper buddy of mine told me, when you go to the academy, take it a day at a time. Sometimes you have to take it an hour at a time because it's that difficult, and you're confined, kind of, but you have the freedom to leave if you want. At any time you can say, I don't want to do this anymore, I can leave. And I've seen it. I've seen people, sitting next to me at breakfast time or in class, and then after lunch they're gone. I'm like, what happened to him? Oh, he quit. I was like, what? So in that aspect, it's really mentally challenging because you have to have this mental fortitude. You have to have it in your mind that I want to be a trooper. This is what I want to do. Thank you so much for checking out this video. If you guys enjoyed this, go ahead and hit me a like, comment, share, subscribe. If you guys want to hit me up with some questions, check the description below. I have a direct email that you can email me anything you'd like to ask. But thank you so much, guys. But please stay safe, stay fit, and always stay vigilant. Peace.